what's going on, everybody? It's Dan Baird with the Great River Mushrooms and Herbal. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing good. I'm still doing some sharing out and got to get some stuff going here in my mushroom garden. Hey, what's going on, Grassroots? Hope all's well as you. Hope everybody's staying warm as well because it is still kind of cold out. Although it was a heat wave yesterday. We got up to 30 degrees, and that's a heat wave here to me. But hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to do a couple more shares here and as well. And what I have here in that crock pot behind me, actually it's not a crock pot, it is a pressure cooker, is some agar. So I have to make some agar dishes. We're going to go down in my lab today and do that as well. So just stay in here, stay tuned, and we got to get that going after here because it's getting cooler right now. And if you don't know what agar is basically what the mushrooms start in. Mycelium is what mushrooms start in. And so we're going to make some agar dishes so I can spread some more mycelium in a way, I guess. And I'll show you downstairs what all that means. But what's going on, Brenda? Hope all is well. We are just entering the mushroom season. I am Dan Baird. If all of you don't know me, Dan Baird, Great River Mushrooms and Herbal. And I am a small mushroom business in Quincy, Illinois. I grow in my own mushrooms in my basement, and I make my own herbal medicine as well, like lion's mane, CBD, and CBG. And I mostly sell it through my website and farmers markets as well. So go down there, check out the websites down there at the bottom, greatrivermushrooms.com. I sell a lot more than just mushrooms. And I try to educate everybody on how to grow mushrooms at home, and I teach classes as well. So let me finish sharing out here. Well, you can share your friends out. It gets pretty interesting because a lot of people don't know how mushrooms grow. So, pop that place. So we're kind of going to show you how I grow mushrooms at home, how I cultivate commercial mushrooms, and then how I kind of, turn it into a business. Do that. But as well, might as well get a hashtag going too. I like giving people something, so we're just gonna give away some straight cash on me. Let me get that going here real quick. We are live in the lab right there. We'll bring just bless somebody with a little bit of cash, go buy some coffee, bless somebody else. So we'll put that up there. There we go. Make that smaller. There we go. That's better. What's going on, Shane? Chad, how you doing? Rasta, what's up? From Vegas, and nothing grows there. All as well as here. I'm just getting kind of bored now. Haven't been working the last couple of weeks because obviously we can't put roofs on when it's this cold or snow. So I've just been trying to keep busy around my house. I do have some construction work I could do, although I'm kind of holding off on that because it is still so cold. Hope everyone's having an amazing day as well. Everyone is. I think got all the shares out. Let me make sure. I think we got that one there. And I'm just going to give somebody some cash. That's all of what the giveaway is. So we'll just give me your Cash App Venmo. I'll send you some money. Welcome to get in that giveaway. All right, I think we're good to go. I'm going to wash my hands first so I can be a little clean when I go down here into the labs. Usually when I go down here, I have showered in the morning because I want to be very clean, because I'm the dirtiest thing that's going to be inside this lab. It's a very clean little tent that I keep, area that I keep downstairs. And this is our agar. This is what we're going to be pouring into some jars here. It has kind of gotten a little gelled here, so I'm going to heat it back up for a second. Yeah, I think we can just go down there and start pouring it, so that's probably what we'll do. Yeah, I think it's good. So basically, we're going to pour this in the Petri dishes, and we're going to take that downstairs now. I think we got everything else. And we have to basically let it cool down because it was boiling hot. And I think we got everything else down here. So I can handle it now because it was really pretty hot when it comes out of the pressure cooker. So this is all where the mushrooms are grow, and we'll kind of show you that here in a second. I think it's kind of hot in my hand. All right, I'm going to set up the second camera too. I have a second camera that I'm going to put it in here to help kind of show what I'm doing in here. So let me do that real quick. I'll kind of show you around what's going on in here. All right, where are we at? Right, set this up real quick. And I got to make sure it doesn't echo too, because that happens sometimes. I'll mute that. All right, we'll bring that up now. Yeah, I need to make sure it's not echoing. There we go. Because I don't think there is an echo, maybe. That's a little bit of echo. No echo now. I'll hear it now. All right, so we're going to put this camera right here because I'm going to show you how this Petri dish goes really fast. All right, I think we're good. That works right there. We lower it down just a little bit. We're going to turn our thing on now. This is basically our filtration system that runs inside this tent is right here. This is called a flow station. So it's a flow hood. So basically it's going to bring in some fresh air from outside here. There's a 8-inch line coming in through a pre-filter on the other side of this tent, coming through this HEPA filtration system here. And this is the area I'm going to work in front of. It's going to allow me to work in front of a sterile air environment. So the other thing I'm using today is 70% alcohol. This is basically how I would clean everything in here. We're just going to use it, spray it on my hands first before I put some gloves on. So this tent is actually kept very clean. I actually clean it once a week with bleach. The floor is cleaned by hand with bleach. I do not let anything kind of get on the floor. There's no germs in here, so it's a very, very clean room. And it's actually 2 different rooms. I'll show you here. This is my homemade kind of tent area until I make my full lab area, which I'm making right now. So this is basically the other tent area. This is for storage. I do some other experiments here and stuff. And then these are just all my equipment I need. Basically need a lot of gloves. We need a lot of syringes and a lot of agar dishes as well. So this is our storage area. This has all our basically all our genetics on it. And right now we're going to work on getting more genetics because for 2 months we haven't really been growing mushrooms. So now we're back in the mushroom growing season. We're going to increase our cultivation. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to start with the agar dishes. And let me bring that up first because we'll get a closer view here. There you go. So these are the agar dishes. They come in a sleeve of basically 10. It's a sterile syringe. They come sterilized, so they are clean. They have been sterilized. And what I'm going to do now is spray a whole bunch of this alcohol on this rag here. I'm going to wipe everything off on the table. We're going to make sure everything is clean, which it is. I just cleaned everything with bleach water the other day, so it's relatively clean. What's going on, everybody? Kristen, Chad, how you doing? By the way, I don't require you to stay in here if you want to win that giveaway. Because sometimes my lives do last a long time, and you don't have to stay in here the whole time. I understand. So you can enter the giveaway. I'll get a hold of you if you aren't here. What's going on, Ty? How you doing? So we're gonna spray everything off here as well. We're gonna spray all this off. We're about ready to pour some plates now. So we're gonna make sure these plates are upright the right way when we open them. Everything that we're going to use today to get sterilized, we got a pair of scissors here. We're going to do the same thing, wipe it down with alcohol. Even though it looks spotless, you can't see germs. So you got to make sure that's clean. Now we're going to cut the top open. Next, we're going to cut the bottom open, and then we're going to dump the sleeve out. Just like that, we're going to sit them there. And I think you can see it pretty well now, yeah. So we got the PDA. This is PDA agar, what it's called. It actually is potatoes, agar, and corn syrup, and then some water. Mix it together to a boil. Then I actually put it into a pressure cooker to sterilize it. And now we're at here at this stage where it's still kind of warm, but it's going to turn into a gel here very shortly. So we're going to get it going. We're going to dump it into these containers. What up, Marcel? How you doing? We're gonna get those going in the Petri dishes now. So sometimes I do wear a mask too. I do have one in here. How I avoid not wearing a mask, it's usually when I have dishes open, I don't talk. So if I don't talk for about a minute, it's because I have one of these dishes open and I don't want to breathe onto it where I can spread germs. But I think we'll put the mask on just so I can talk while it's going on. It's just going to keep me from spreading germs, which will get on my plates, and then that's not any good. So. What we're doing, we're just going to fill this plate up until it's completely full, move it to the side, and move on to the next one, and we're just going to start stacking them. Sometimes they do get stuck on each other, and that's what's happening. So we're trying to pull them apart. So I'm also stacking them. As you see, when you stack them, it allows you they're going to steam up and you're not going to be able to see into them because I'm going to grow actual mushroom mycelium in here. And so you want to be able to see into the container. So if you actually stack them up while they're cooling, the steam the condense that's all over the containers will eventually go away. That one's the wrong one. Containers are all the wrong way, but that's okay. It'll cool. So some of these containers come, you gotta make sure you stack it the right way, and I didn't do that. Because I had an extra container, it's big. Oh. I made a little bit of a mess, but it happens. Clean it up. Thing you on. So it looks like we're going to be able to fill 20 of these agar dishes. So we're going to thing out of them. I buy them by the sleeves, so you can see I buy them a whole bunch of them. I buy them like packs of 200. Make sure they're the right way. They keep stacking them. Some of these get stacked the wrong way when they ship them. And now we're all good. Still see it? Yep. So we're just keep stacking them up. All right, that's all we can fill. That's all I have, but we pretty much use them all. And now they need to cool down, so we're just going to set them to the side, and we're going to use them tomorrow. I'm not going to use them today. Let me take this mask off because I don't need it anymore. So we're going to cool them off to the side, and I'm going to use them tomorrow. What's going on, Chad? How you doing? Hello, Marcel. What's going on? Hey, Becca. How you doing? Catch up on the comments there. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. It's good. Ty, same as you. Same as you. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to hit those like, reaction, share buttons. I appreciate you guys stopping in here, just watching what I do. Now it's time to put the lab jacket on and do some. We're gonna do some of these bags. I'm gonna show you how to actually all this other stuff works in here. And I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope everybody's staying warm now. We're going to set these to the side now, which we're going to set right over here to the side of the machine. And now we're going to put this little thing out here, and this is one of my important tools that I use. It actually seals the bag. It's a plastic film sealer. It's going to seal these mushroom bags that I use to grow my mushrooms in. I'm just going to clean the table off real quick. Make sure everything's clean. Make sure our gloves are clean. Make sure we're clean. And now we're going to do some shiitake. So these are shiitake mushroom bags. You'll see here. That is mycelium. All that white stuff in there is mycelium growing on whole oats. So those are oats basically that I'm going to break up here, and then I'm going to spread it in other bags. So first we're going to do some transfers. These are smaller bags that I grow the mushrooms in, or these are the grain bags. So we're going to transfer what's in there a little bit into here, and we're going to basically spread the mycelium around. Again, we're going to spray this alcohol all over the bag. We're going to clean everything pretty well. These are all bags I make myself. These are grains that I soak in water, and then I sterilize them so they're ready to go. They're ready for mushrooms to go in. They're not mushrooms, for mycelium to be put into it. So that's what we're going to do, spread a little bit of mycelium around. Then we're going to use this sealer to seal it all up. So before we open anything up, we're just making sure these bags are free of contaminants. We have a rag full of alcohol on it so we can just wipe everything down as needed. We're going to wipe our machine down too, make sure our machine's clean. And we're ready to open these bags up. Here we go. And these are the shiitake. This is the shiitake mycelium that I'm putting in here. So I'm sealing the bag now. I'm going to double seal it. And basically that's going to seal the bag up here. And this bag has a micron filter on it. So this micron filter is going to allow it to, you see right here in this camera, is going to allow the air to go into it and allow the mycelium to spread, which is what to do. So we're just going to give it a good shake. We're going to spread that mycelium that's already here all around the bag. And then in a week's time, it's going to look like that bag we just took it out of. It's going to keep spreading around here. This is what we want it to do. So these bags in our lab right here, this is responsible for growing 25 to 30 pounds of mushrooms. This bag right here will end up growing that many mushrooms for our company that we sell at farmers market. So we're going to make sure we have an initial on it too. Just right where we have it is shiitake, as well as the date is the 18th of January. Probably need to flag it. Plug the laptop in too because the battery's dying. Yeah, we just write shiitake and want the date on it, and then we're going to put it back up on the shelf and wait for it to do its thing. It needs to continue to grow. So we're going to do this other bag now. Again, we're just going to clean our hands real quick. Now we're going to do this bag. And I try to put 12 to 16 ounces in there. That's my goal. These are 3-pound bags, so I'm trying to get around 4 pounds once the mycelium's inoculated it. I'm using whole oats, James. So whole oats is a local grain that I buy, and the reason I buy it is because it's about a third of the price of other grains, and I've gotten used to using it now. I've actually bought more expensive grains and used them side by side, and these cheaper grains have worked just fine. So it depends on where you live. Try to buy local. That's where you're going to save money, because if you try to get these grains shipped to you, you're going to spend a lot of money in shipping. So when I'm using thousands of pounds of these a year, I try to find the best price as well. So, for instance, some of the oats are about $60 per 50-pound bags, and I'm getting these for $21 for a 50-pound bag. So it's a substantial difference. And we're just going to take that grain around. We're going to make sure it's spread pretty evenly around there. We're going to label the bag again. And set it up to the side. And we're going to do that to one more bag, I think. We have a whole bunch of bags that we could do. We made a whole bunch of grain last week. And then there's also, these are our grow bags. These are the final resting place for shiitake that we actually grow it in. So we're going to inoculate some of this as well. Our shiitakes take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks in inoculation stage before we can put them into fruiting stage, which takes about 10 days. So this block will sit in our facility for 2 months before it gets inoculated or it gets to its next stage where it actually starts to fruit. So we're going to do one of these bags. These are our commercial grow bags. I don't sell these to the public. They are our 10-pound grow bags. They end up producing anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds of mushrooms, just this little bag. So these are our specially made shiitake bags. They are actually different ingredients than our normal oyster mushrooms, our chestnuts. So the shiitake mushrooms like a lot. They're much more. They need a lot more wood. They like the wood more. So we use a lot more of the wood grain in our products at an 80% to 20% ratio compared to our oyster mushrooms that are at 50-50. Most of our ingredients are just basically 2 ingredients. We use hardwood pellets that are basically, and they use the hardwood pellet stoves. And then we use soy hull. And soy hull pellets are basically, it's the outer shell of a soybean. It's pretty much useless to a lot of companies. They grain it up and then they put it into these pellets that I buy at a very cheap price. And those are the 2 ingredients that are in mushroom bags that allow indoor cultivators to grow mushrooms inside. This one is a different kind of bag, so I have to heat it a little bit different. I gotta adjust the heat setting and then I'll do it again. So this little sealer has the heat setting on the side. It allows me to adjust. Some of the bags need a little more heat, some of them need a little less. We got it pretty sealed up. And now we're gonna give it a shake. And these bags are a little hard. Get a little heavy. So we got a chair we're going to sit down for a minute on and give it a good shake. And we're just going to press around the sides, get this grain to drop to the bottom. Well, all that grain to be spread around the whole thing. And you can see we got a big old chunk of grain right here. We're going to spread that grain now to the bottom of the whole bag. We're going to push it down there with our fingers and then pull out of the bag to allow the grain to fall. It's important to get it to the bottom. What these evenly spread, or your mushrooms aren't going to grow evenly, or your mycelium, I should say. So there's 2 stages of mushroom growing. There's the colonization stage, where you colonize the actual mycelium, which this is mycelium right here. This mildew looking stuff is actually mycelium growing. And that's what we're trying to spread among these bags. But this is its final resting place. These are where the mushrooms are going to grow out of now. But now we're just going to push the remainder of the grain. We're going to mix it into the soil. Kind of don't want to see it at all. We want it to be mixed pretty well. We'll give the bag a good shake. And that's why it's important that the bag is sealed properly, which I seal 3 times because I have to get this stuff all over. What's going on, Joseph? How you doing today? And then we're just going to put it on here. We're going to push it down. And we basically want to push all that down. We want to compact it all. We want it to be ready for it to spread through there. So it has the proper moisture it needs. It has the proper nutrition. It has the proper strength. Because the mushroom will not grow unless it has a proper hold on something. So you're not going to see a shiitake growing out of the ground because it's important that it has a hardwood, something hard to hold on to when it actually grows out of whatever it grows at. So I'm trying to simulate that in an indoor garden. So I'm going to squeeze that really hard. We want this to be really compact as we can. And to the side now, we're going to put a date on it. And we're going to put January 18th. So now we know by about March 20th, we're probably going to have mushrooms out of this. We're probably going to be growing mushrooms about March 20th of this bag. So that's how long the shiitakes kind of take to grow. And that is the reason they actually cost a little more at your farmer's market, is because they take more time to grow. They take more room up in our facilities. As per se, we could be growing the cheaper mushrooms and some more of those. So that's the reason that there are mushroom species or different prices. It really depends on how long they take to grow in our facility. That actually determines the outcome of how much the price is. So some are more aggressive species, like the blue oyster. We sell that all day at a pretty affordable price of $12 a pound. That is easily comparable to any portobellos because they sell them in 4-ounce boxes for about $3-4. If you took that 4-ounce box and made it into a pound, it'd be the exact same price as ours. So our prices are set just the same as portobellos, the blue oysters, but you're getting way more nutrition as well. So this bag's ready to go on our shelf. It's going to go outside this tent here, and I'll show you that here short in a little bit. What that is. We have a little bit of grain left, as you can see in that other camera. We're going to dump the rest of that grain into this bag here now. And we're going to continue that shiitake spread and colonizing in the grain bags. And by the way, if anybody is welcome to join, we're going to be doing a live in March of how to grow mushrooms at home. It's at a gardener's palais. Basically, it's at people sign up for these classes to come learn about different garden techniques, gardening things. And I've been asked to be a speaker at it for the 2nd year. And we're going to try to do a live this time. Last year we did it. It was horrible. You couldn't hear me. I didn't really know what I was doing then, but I do now. So just look out for that. We'll be streaming live to Facebook of how to grow mushrooms at home. You guys can join us all on Facebook. And it'll be pretty cool. Shiitakes, all the species do grow in the same grain though, whether it's our shiitakes, our blue oyster, pink oyster, and our chestnuts, and anything else we kind of grow. At one time last year, I had 6 different kind of mushrooms at the market. Right now, I only have 3. And that bag's sealed up now. We're just going to give it a good shake. And spread that shiitake mushroom and mycelium around in there. Hey, James, how you doing? Same thing. Linda, how you doing? We're gonna make sure that grain's all the way at the bottom, then we're gonna just mark our bag, stocky with the tape. And we're gonna set it aside now. So basically we just turned one bag into 3 more bags, and then we turned it into a grow bag as well. So that's how we kind of spread the mycelium around, especially when we're increasing our inventory as we go into mushroom season. Now we're going to do our blue oyster species right here. This is a beautiful mycelium. See it really well. So you can see also as well, there's a little bit of some yellow in there. We call that the mushroom piss. That is basically the mushroom's self-defense mechanism. It kind of produces it to fight off other things in there. So there is a chance that there could have been contamination in here and it made that to kill it, which is perfectly okay. If you see that in your mushroom bags, that's not a big deal. It's perfectly normal for the mushrooms that produce that. So we're going to break this grain up first before we start dumping it in the other bag. So we're going to get it ready, and we're going to spray it off with some of that alcohol, clean that bag off really well. Again, this is our blue oyster species. Super aggressive species of mushrooms. It can produce mushrooms within 20 days of inoculation. It's one of the reasons that NASA, speaking of my hat here, NASA wants to grow mushrooms in space. Is the fact is that they actually fruit so fast. You can have edible mushrooms in 20 days compared to a tomato that may be 60 to 90 days. So the rate of production of food is vastly increased when you actually are growing mushrooms compared to any other vegetables or fruits. So, blue oyster, one of my favorites, super aggressive species. Now we're going to start spreading it into some other bags here. So we got 2 more grain bags right here. Going to inoculate these now. So thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that like, reaction, share button. It helps a lot to get the people out about how I can educate you guys about mushrooms. I would love to see everybody grow mushrooms at home. That's why I try to educate people on it. Once you learn how to do it, it is kind of simple, but it does take a lot of practice as well. So it smells really healthy. Every single species of mushroom has its own odor. So that one smells really healthy. It smells like your blue oyster mushroom. It smells kind of like the woods with a little dampness with it. It's kind of with a little mushroom smell to it. So it's interesting that they all have their own odor at the mycelium stage. When they aren't producing mushrooms, they have even more of an odor than they do when they're actually mushrooms. Hey, what's going on, Jay? What's going on? Let's go, Charles. I hope all is well. All the way over there on the other continent. And again, we're just going to shake that bag up, spread that blue oyster mycelium around. We're going to make sure that we label it. As always, we're going to make sure we label the bags, otherwise you're going to get it mixed up because a lot of the mycelium looks the same. So it actually starts fruit and it starts to grow completely different. So we got blue oyster with the date on it. Set this bag aside and I'll let it inoculate that bag. Continue to keep a clean environment. I knock everything on the floor because I clean the floor every week regardless of whether there's anything on it. So a lot of times I just wipe everything from the floor, not worry about it until I clean it up later. Floor is contaminated, and that's where we want to knock everything to. So again, we're going to wipe all of our tools down. Just keep that cleanliness environment just in case we get introduced any kind of other thing that's not supposed to be in here. Mostly trichodermia. A lot of you know what trichodermia is. It's that blue stuff that grows on your on your bread. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. I always forget my microphone's over here. All right. Gonna keep doing some more blue oyster bags now. Smells really good. Literally, it reminds me of the wood. I smell the blue oyster, and it just reminds you of being in nature. So it's kind of a nostalgic smell, especially if you spend a lot of time in nature as a child. And you know that odor I'm talking about of the wood on a damp morning in the fall or the spring. So we're going to double seal that bag, and then we're going to give it a good shake. Again, we want that grain to be inoculated grain to be spread all over. The way mycelium grows is when you break it up. I got a hole in my glove. Just making sure. Not a bigger hole. Anyway, when you break it up, it starts to grow again, and it's looking for another mycelium cell. So they're single cell organisms, and mycelium grows a cell at a time until they attach to another cell, and then they go out seeking other mycelium cells until they're basically a whole network. And the way the network works is they spread nutrients among the colony so that the whole mycelium is healthy instead of it just one. So if one section of the mycelium gets attacked, the whole colony attacked in essence, basically. It knows when it's getting attacked. It's very intelligent. Mycelium also allows nutrients to be spread through trees. So the way it works is trees give the mycelium carbon in exchange for exchanging nutrients among the colony of trees. So, and then in essence, what the mycelium does is it stores the carbon. Other plants use it as well as other organisms like nematodes and everything else. So it basically leads to a very healthy soil system when you have the proper mycelium in the soil. So, a lot of people don't realize that that's what mycelium does. It is responsible for the forest as a whole underground. It's what keeps a healthy forest. Oh, Joseph, there's 12 people in the house. It must be over on the group page. So we got 11 people here. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. And we got blue oyster. We're going to make sure we write the date on it again. Set it up on the shelf and let it grow. And we're probably going to do that to one more bag. This bag looks really suspicious, so I'm not sure about it. It'll definitely have some weird colors in it. But I think it's been contaminated, which is a shame, but that's what happens. It is a grayish blue color, and that's not your normal mycelium. when it gets infected, usually I put it into another room. I allow it to, it'll eventually find an offer, it'll eventually lose, and the organism that's in there will kill it. So let it play out for war for a little bit. One side sometimes wins, and if it doesn't win, I just toss it into my garden. Yeah, I think we'll do a grow bag now. We have the regular blue oyster bags here. These are what we call the master's mix. This is 50% soil, 50% hardwood, and I basically mix water with it, and then I sterilize it so it's been sterilized and it's ready to go. It's nice and clean. I got a hole in my glove, so I need to change my glove. The reason I want to change my glove is because underneath your fingernails hold a lot of organisms that could contaminate my room, so I don't want to get exposed to that. So it's better to wear gloves. Even though I cleaned my hands before I came in here, everything looked clean. Microorganisms exist everywhere. We can seal that up, and then we have a blue oyster bag. This bag will grow 5 to 6 pounds of mushrooms over about a month. They have a month period. Appreciate it, Grassroots. Appreciate it. You have a good day, man. What's going on, Ruby? How you doing? Barely burning the bag here, so I got to back off the heater there. And we're gonna keep sealing it so it's a good seal. That's why I don't like these other bags. Not that I would have to buy them from 2 different companies. So one's a better quality, and the other one kind of heats at a different temperature. But that works good. And it's important to seal the bags to keep other stuff from growing in there. So we're just going to make sure that grain gets to the bottom again. Give it a good shake. And this is a super aggressive strain of mushrooms, so I don't really need to put much grain in. I usually put typically a pound of grain into these 10-pound bags, but I could use 8 ounces if it's even down to 8, so it'll be just fine. The more grain you put in there, the higher chances it's not going to contaminate. You always have to take that into the equation. These super aggressive strains, like blue oyster, very rarely get contaminated. So there we go. This is our blue oyster mushroom block. In 10 days, this will grow about 3 pounds. It'll have a 3-pound mushroom flush. And then after that, we'll have a pound and a half and then a pound. So we'll end up getting about 5 to 6 pounds out of it. And now it's going to go on our outside shelf here for storage. think we have another thing back here, but it has not been growing very fast. So I don't know what's going on with it. It looks like it got a little too wet, which tends to happen sometimes. It's not contaminated yet, but it's just not growing very fast. But it's a shiitake strain of mushrooms. So we'll see what that bag does. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. So we also have this old one. We're going to start mixing these up now. We have an old blue oyster block. It's kind of too old now, so it's 430. We need to make sure we're going to make new inventory of it since it's too old. So we're going to break this jar up and we're going to throw it into a bag and eventually make some new jars of the blue oyster. So these are our backups in case something happens to our inventory or we get a mass contamination. We have these as backup, so we don't have to go buy a whole new inventory of mushrooms. Because they cost about $30 each every time you have to do that. So. All right, so to break this up, we're going to use this tool right here. We're going to make sure it's clean. So we're going to lay it on this rag and just lay all the alcohol out of it. Sit there a minute, and we're going to get another grain bag ready. We're going to break that whole jar up, and then we're going to put it into the grain bag. And then it'll allow us to turn 12 ounces into 3.5 pounds. So that's how we kind of keep the mycelium spreading. We're going to do the same here, spray up the jar. See all that mycelium? It's thick, isn't it? Thanks, Crystal. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. What's going on, Facebook user? I don't know who that is. So we got a big old chunk in there we got to break up. That's what happens when it sits in a container for 8 months. It can harden up, turn into a big chunk of massive mycelium. It kind of goes into a stage where it doesn't grow a lot because it doesn't have anything left to eat. So we're going to spread that around in here. It's probably happy now because we just gave it food and it needed its food a long time ago. But mycelium basically never dies. It basically can go into a stage where it may look dead, but there are little single cell organisms that are still alive in there. There we go. Good shake up there. Make sure we label it really well. That is our blue oyster species. Set her on the shelf. Then we do have some lion's mane bags. These look suspicious, but they actually look fine now. A couple weeks ago they did, but whatever was in it is gone. But see if it's dead though. So what we're gonna do is remove that real fast. So there are ways to neutralize if there's just a little spot in there, like this one. It's not worth throwing away just because there's a little contamination. So we're going to take that little contamination, remove it, and then we're going to treat the bag. There it is right there. So to treat it, we're just going to spray a little alcohol down the side. So yes, it's going to kill the mycelium, but essentially it's going to kill the little piece of contamination. It is so small. The rest of the mycelium inside of that bag is really healthy, so I don't want to throw it away because of one little spot. So we've killed the contamination now. What we're going to do also is we're going to break it into smaller batches. So we have our 12 ounce jars. We're going to put them into a couple of these as well, just to make sure if we do have a contamination, we kind of we increase our chances of success when we have more jars of the actual material. So let's see what we do here. We usually do make a mess when we do our jars, so we do get a little grain everywhere, but that's okay. And then we're just going to do a little shaky shake, kind of shake that grain to the bottom, and we want all that grain to be equally into the jar. And then we're going to label it. We got some nice blue stickers we stick on them, so we label our jars in our lab, and that's going to be blue. Nope, it's lion's mane, and then we'll write the date on it. And we're going to set it on our shelf, let it grow. We're going to do another jar as well. We're going to shake it. We already have a tag on it from the last time we used it. We actually have about 90 of these quart jars in our inventory that we kind of rotate. And I do sell these as well. So if you buy them off my website, you do get brand new jars. So if you do inoculate even magic mushrooms, this grain works with that as well. You can buy them off my website. I do guarantee my products. I don't guarantee you that you won't get contaminated because that can be your own fault as well. But I would replace them if they do get contaminated. It's not a big deal to me. And then again, this is going to be the lion's mane, so we're going to write LM on it with the date on it, which is the 18th. And we're going to set it on our shelf. We've got some LM lion's mane. Again, we're doing small jars because there was a slight contamination in there, and sometimes the rest of the mycelium is really excellent besides that one spot. So to avoid it spreading more, we kind of, especially at the top where we saw the contamination, I'm kind of breaking it into smaller sections. Just in case one jar does get contaminated, I don't lose 3 pounds of it. I just lose 12 ounces per se. Because otherwise, I'm gonna have to spend $30 to $50 to go buy a new bag, because that is the last of my lion's mane from the last year. So I lost 2 of my jars because they sat around too long. Eventually, contamination does happen. Put it on the shelf. Hope she grows well. Again, we're going to do a couple more jars because I really want to make sure we take care of that issue. And plus, they'll get used for growth. So basically, one bag of this, or this grain, will turn into 5 or 6 pounds of mushrooms, essentially. And you can already see we made a mess over here. We got grain all over, so we're just going to continue to make a mess here. All right, got another jar now, and we can't really do much more in here. We got this bag here. Then we have another bag of lion's mane that doesn't look very healthy, so I'm hoping that this bag works and I don't have to go to my backup bag. All right, and we're good there. We got our jar of lion's mane mycelium. Mark it, put her on the shelf. We got one more jar we can do here. That'll give us 5 jars of lion's mane, and then we're going to do some bigger bags of it. The mycelium at the bottom is very healthy. It just had that one very tiny spot, and I'm not even sure if it was alive, because a lot of times it'll surround the contamination and kill it. All right, now we got our last jar there of the lion's mane mycelium. Shake it around. Put that label on it, and this one, put our sticker on it. There it is. Lion's mane. All right, that will clean up a little bit of this mess that's made everywhere. That got a majority of it. Got some more lion's mane now. Now we're down to the really, really good mycelium at the bottom here, which is what I really want. Now sealed bags, give it a good shake now. Right around in that new train bag. All the lion's mane that I actually grow myself gets sold to the market. I actually don't make it into my capsules. I use a different source for that. So we'll go lion's mane, put it on the shelf. That bag looks so funky. I'm gonna put it in the oven outside here. There's that other bag of lion's mane. So now we're gonna do another grain bag of lion's mane. So we have 2 bags left, so we're just gonna inoculate both of them with our lion's mane here. We're just going to break up the rest of this stuff here and we're dumping it there. Try not to get green everywhere. There we go. I got just scattered grain all over, but it happens. Making a mess. I clean it up once a week anyway. Seal it. Go through that other bag real fast. Seal her up. I think that was our last grain bag that we had to do. So we really increased our inventory today by a lot, and a lot of the healthier grains. So this will just keep spreading into more bags as we continue into the growing season. Thank you all for joining me tonight. We still got 8 people in the house. Hit that like, share, reaction button. We'll give away some free cash on me here. I didn't even know that comment was up. Must have pressed. There we go. Make sure that grain's spread around good. Got some more lion's mane in inventory now. As well as all these jars, so the jars will be spread around more too. And I can always shake these later on as well if I don't mix them well, so it's not a big deal. With the grain bags, in particular, they are forgiving if you don't shake them well at first. You can shake them later. We also are going to do this. We still have some Pearl King mushroom, and we're going to take care of that because this one's sitting in there too long. We do have a couple more jars. We have 3 more jars that we could use right now today. We might as well use them while we're here. Get rid of all our trash here. Alright, just clearing a little stuff out of the way. Do one of these other jars here. We don't have any more use for the rest of this, so we're just going to seal her up and use her later. What's left here? So we don't forget just throwing it away because the grain is very much good. So we're just double seal that bag and put it back on the shelf, even though we didn't use it all. And we'll label that with the lion's mane. There we go. Set that up shelf. Then we got 2 more jars. And the Pearl King is an interesting mushroom. I have not grown it for about 16 months. It is a very picky mushroom. It actually has to be cold shocked to grow. So basically, you have to put it into a really cold environment for 24 hours to force it to grow. I actually had it in my fruiting tent for months once, and it would not fruit. And so it's kind of a finicky mushroom, but it's a delicious mushroom. I would love to grow more of it because when I was growing it, it's an awesome mushroom. Oh, the lid's very much stuck on it. Might not be able to get the lid off. That sucks. It's been in here so long that the lid's kind of stuck on it. I got a pretty strong grip and I can't move it. Yeah, it's just stuck. The only way to get her out is probably to break the jar. Oh, I got it. Finally. That was stuck really good. We'll see if that works. It might not survive. It doesn't look very healthy. but that doesn't mean that it can't spread. So let's see what happens. It's been in there for 11 months in that jar, so it's kind of gotten a little mushy. It kind of started to eat itself in a way. See how it works in a new environment. Again, that is the Pearl King. And we do have one jar left that we could use for something. I'm not really sure what. I'll just set it to the side and use it later on. And that's about all we can do today. Inside of here. We'll clean that up real quick. And green we got. Then we'll show you how we move our other blocks through our fruiting tent. So we just started cleaning up a little bit. Like I said, once a week I come into here, I clean the floor up, I clean everything off before I actually come into the lab. So that way that it's pretty much spotless when I come and do work in here. Ready to go. But I like to keep it clean anyway. We have these petri dishes now that we're going to set in front of the unit here. They're a separate side because tomorrow we're going to have to come back in here and use those petri dishes. All right, move that chair. We're going to move out to our fruiting chamber here. I'll show you how we store our bags. All right, let's shut everything down in here. So this is our, try to remove that other camera. Hold on a second. There we go. So these are where I basically store our mushrooms at right now. These are our shiitake blocks, and they kind of get stored here. These are ready to go. We're going to pull these out right now and put them into our fruiting tent, and I'll show you how I do that. We got some elm oysters, and then we have some blue oysters. And you can see this blue oyster actually started to grow. It happens. It's not actually growing mushrooms. It's more like a mass. So we're going to set this camera up. We're going to put these in the fruiting chamber. Show you how to do it here. So we have our fruiting tent over here on the other side of our grow. And we're going to open this tent up right here. We'll put our mushrooms in here. And this is our tent that's kept right now. It's kept at 80% humidity. And right now it's like 60 degrees in there. 54 degrees, so it's pretty cold. The mushrooms love it. We have some mushrooms in there to pick as well, so I'm going to pick those. See, we have some second flush shiitakes coming in. They're growing all funky. We're just going to pull them out. Actually, they usually get cut with scissors. So usually we just trim that off with some scissors. We have a huge shiitake mushroom right there. Beautiful. So that's probably not something I would sell. That usually gets made into my soup. So we'll put that back in the fruiting chamber. So what happened was a couple of weeks ago we had a piece of equipment break and it wasn't working properly for 5 days. The mushroom blocks in there suffered. They're not really mushrooms I'd sell at the market because they just look all funky. You can see that what they started growing all weird because of the lack of moisture that happened for 5 days. when I didn't really know what was happening. So we're going to get a trash can here. We're going to start cutting these blocks open. So we'll start with the blue oyster species. Let me get these bags set up here. I'll show you how. We got all of our oyster species right here. And let me get a pair of scissors. I don't know what happened to them, but they should be. Let me go grab the other ones I have. Scissors. Basically, we just want to make sure we keep a halfway sterile environment. We're going to cut these bags open. And we're going to slice a hole in and flip them upside down. So we need a clean pair of scissors, which we have here. We have some alcohol. We got spray bottles of alcohol over our basement here. So we got one here. Make sure things are clean. So this particular one here has a mass in it. You can see that mass growing right here. We want to pull that out of there. So this one, we're going to have to cut the top open. We're going to just cut that open with the scissors. We're going to reach our hands in there and make sure our hands clean. We got sanitizer. We're going to pull that mass out and just throw it in the trash. It's not any good. It's not going to grow anything that's going to be worth throwing. So we're going to pull that mass out. We clean our hand, and then we're going to take that bag, we're going to fold it back, and then we're going to flip it upside down. When it flips upside down, you can see there's another mass there. I didn't get all the mass out, so we'll get that other mass. Basically what it's trying to do is it's trying to fruit, and then it realizes that it doesn't have the ability, it doesn't have the proper oxygen to fruit because the bag hasn't been opened yet. Like what I do here. This is basically going to make it start to grow mushrooms. So we're going to flip it upside down. We're going to hit it on the back because it's kind of simulated a tree falling. The mushroom thinks the tree fell, and now it's time to grow its mushrooms because it thinks it's going to die. So kind of doing that with nature here. We're going to cut a whole slice across here. You can see right here, we're going to cut a whole slice across that, and we're going to cut into the actual soil material, as we should call it here. And then we're going to cut up on a little bit on both sides to allow the mushroom room to grow. So it's going to push out of that plastic hole there and grow mushrooms here in about a couple days. So we're going to put that back into the fruiting pit now, put it in its place. We have older bags that go kind of rotate around. So some of these bags have been in here for months. So we're going to put the new bags to the left, and we're going to do that to these other bags too. Now we don't have any mass growing in this one, so it's not a big deal here. Usually when that happens, we just cut the corner out. Cut that corner, we're going to let the air out of it and give it a nice fold. We're going to shut off that air supply at the top, and then I'm going to flip it over, give it a good whop, and then we're going to force it to grow out of this hole. So now its only choice is now to grow out of this hole since we've closed off all other places. So. Same with that one. This one has a massive growth in it, and you can see it actually started to grow mushrooms. And the reason this is not any good to eat is because the fact it's more mycelium than it is actually edible material. But I'll actually show it to you here. It's pretty interesting. So you can see it grew a big mass here of tangled up stuff, and it's all just not very good to eat, but pretty interesting. Sometimes it does that when it sits around too long and it just wants to grow. Again, you probably could eat it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of mushy. There are people out there that would eat it. Again, we're just going to fold that bag up after we remove that mask. We're going to hit it again. Then we're going to give that make that nice little smile cut into it. Give it some room to grow, and then we're going to put it back into the fruiting pit. And we're actually putting all these bags next to each other because I'm going to make a cool video with it. I'm going to start documenting how these grow. So stay tuned for that. It'll be pretty cool. Again, we have a mass in here. We're going to have to cut this out. Put our hands in there and pull that mass and growth out. So this one has a whole bunch of pieces. We're just going to dump it into the trash. All right, ready to do the same thing again. Fold it over, seal that shut, and then for a nice flip. Then on the back side. All right, now let me go grab a different species of mushroom. I have some elm oysters that are going to go in here as well. So let me go grab some of those. And then we have some shiitake blocks too. We got one bag of elm oyster here. And it looks pretty good to go. We're just going to flip her over. Actually, we cut a slice in her. Let the air out. And cut a nice slice in it, just like the blue oyster, and we'll have some elm oyster species growing out of there. All right, now we'll get the shiitake blocks out. They're usually pretty messy. They have all this blood kind of stuff in it, but I'll show you what I mean when I get it back. As you can see here, they start to grow mushrooms pretty fast, so they're actually growing already. So, but it's okay with these. I'm going to leave them on there because they're already formed. And we're going to put them in our fruiting chamber, and they're going to finish growing, and then we'll pick them. But they grew kind of early. I've never seen them grow this fast. I don't know. Maybe it's because they were sitting so long, and they were just ready to grow because they're supposed to take 8 weeks, and they started growing in 6. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure why they did that. We're going to put them in the fruiting chamber now. And it looks like some of the blocks starting to fall apart, which happens. So put it in there, see what happens. That's why it's strange that they started growing, because the block has to usually harden a little bit. It takes about 2 months, and it didn't get to that stage yet because it started growing mushrooms so early. Holy shiitake, Batman. All right, the same thing happened to this bag. We're going to cut her open, take her out of the whole bag. This block was a little more developed at least, but same age, it just developed faster. And we want to have brown spots on it. You can see the budding of the actual block. All right there, this brown part. So these are going to be some pretty good mushrooms now that they're allowed to breathe. They'll continue to grow. We got 2 more boxes of shiitake. Let me grab those. They started to fruit as well. This one not so much, but this one's definitely growing mushrooms. But they don't look like they're ready yet, so I'm going to keep those aside. Maybe a week or 2 more, and I'll throw them in there. Yeah, you can see what it's actually doing right now. And this is our fogging machine at full use right here. So this whole tent will actually fill up with a fog. Keeps the humidity at, right now that we have it set at 76%. This is our control here. And our atomizer control. And then we have a couple other things over here too for our fan. So there's a 4-inch fan back here that kind of circulates air through this atomizing machine right here. Makes humidity and then pumps the humidity up through here and fully goes throughout the tent. So it's important that these mushrooms get their moisture. Basically, this is a really fine mist that lands on the mushrooms. Then we have another fan that exhausts the air out and allows fresh oxygen to come in, which is what the mushrooms really want. So we have the perfect environment to kind of grow mushrooms indoors in this lab area. Basement we have here, and this tent right here can grow anywhere probably around 300 pounds of mushrooms a month if it was going full blast to the wall here and I actually had help instead of just me. But yeah, it's totally possible. We've been live for an hour and a half now. We're probably going to end it here. We got everything done that we wanted to, and I'm going to give this cash away, straight cash, homie. Anybody else wants to get in it, I'll send you some Cash App. We got 14 people in it. Make sure you hit those love, like, reaction buttons. Share out to your friends. It helps with business as well. Go check out the website. We do have a lot more than just mushrooms. So I think we have 21 different items. We also sell mushroom bags that allow you to grow at home. We can ship those to you, and I do sell those locally as well at the farmers market. So I think that is it. Let's give it a second and see if anybody else wants to get in it. And I think we'll just go back upstairs now. This tent gets pretty much sealed up. Everything works by itself. Everything's atomized and everything. So not atomized, automatic. And we did just cut down a marijuana plant too, which we have to cut down another one. But it's been so dry lately that it's been hard. Just pull me up for a second. Not cool, my mouse ain't working. But yeah, if you can kind of see it, but I have a plant hanging here. I got a humidifier right here at 55%. I mean, my air is constantly circulating, so I'm not worried about mold issues. But I was worried about it being too dry to dry your marijuana in, because the humidity, with it being so cold, it's been so dry that it's been so hard to dry your marijuana without the humidifier. So go back up here, get this away, and continue the day. And join us a lot tomorrow or later today. We're gonna watch a rocket launch, hang out, smoke some cannabis, and watch a rocket launch. We're sending 4 astronauts up at about, I think it's 3:57, so probably go live about 3 o'clock. So me and Rasta, probably be me and Rasta, and a few other people. Anybody else wants to hang out and watch a rocket launch? Alrighty. Got a few more people getting in here. 16 people. And all right. What's going on, Rebecca? How you doing? Patty, what's going on? Shane, Let's get this. Let's get this. See who wins it, and I'll message you. You don't have to be here to win. So let's hit it. Good luck, everybody. Sandra Fast Horse, congratulations. No surprise, Sandra is a huge supporter of Great River Mushrooms. Let's give her that loud applause. There you go. Congratulations, Sandra. I'll message you. Talk to you almost all the time because you order a lot of my products off my website. Sandra, much appreciated. And much appreciated for joining the podcast today, showing what's going on in the lab. So we're going to call it a day here. She doesn't have to be here. Like I said, sometimes I go live for 4 hours in the lab, so I don't expect people to sit there for 4 hours. She is here. Congratulations, Sandra. I'll send you $5 to the Cash App. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody has a beautiful day as well. And like I said, join us later today in Ross as we watch the rocket launch and we smoke some cannabis themselves and get rocket, I guess. So until then, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to hit those love, like, reaction buttons, share out. I appreciate you guys today. We try to stay warm too, so let me take that down there. There we go. So we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good day and a beautiful. It is Thursday already. Beautiful Thursday. See you guys later.